Neil Knowles and fellow councillors.
Right, yes. So, do we say something else? Yes. Okay. From the chairs.
Please remain upstanding while the Reverend John Drake leads us in a prayer.
Mindful of the Mayor-elect's Quaker tradition, I'm going to ask us to keep a moment of quiet and stillness before we pray. Our gracious God, we give you thanks this day for the civic life of the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead. We thank you for the service of our outgoing Mayor, Councillor Neil Knowles, and for all who lead and serve in our borough. Today we pray especially for our Mayor-elect and our Deputy Mayor-elect and for their consorts. We thank you for their long experience of life in the borough, their knowledge of sustainability, biodiversity and commerce. As they begin their year in office, please protect their health and strength. Fill them with wisdom. Enable them to lead diligently, to foster unity, and to encourage and support all that is good in our civic life. We ask this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Please be seated. Welcome to this meeting of the Annual Council on Tuesday, the 14th of May, 2024. My name is Neil Knowles, and as Mayor, I will be chairing the first part of this meeting. Please note the meeting is being recorded and streamed live on YouTube. I would like to remind all attendees, whether here in the room or in the Zoom meeting that follows this, that participation indicates consent to the audio and video being streamed live, and acknowledge that after the meeting, it will continue to be available in the public domain. We will now move to item number 1 on the agenda. Apologies for absent.
Thank you. I've received apologies from Councillor Sharp. I think that's it at the moment.
Thank you very much. Any more to add? Just that one there. Thank you very much. Do any members have any interest that they wish to declare at this meeting with regards to the agenda? I take that as no. I need to shuffle my papers now. Distinguished guests, members and officers of the council, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that went in a flash. It suddenly seemed to me like a year ago, we were crammed into the Guildhall, slightly sweaty, and I was still a bit surprised at what had happened over the previous couple of weeks. I think we all were, so it was quite an unusual set of circumstances. But thanks to all of you for giving me this very singular honour over this past year, and more importantly, supporting me in my endeavour to make council a friendlier, less competitive place during meetings over the past year. I think it's made a real difference, and it's down to everybody here for buying into not reading long speeches and sticking to the point. I'd also, of course, like to thank Alison Singleton, Andrew Scott, Tanya at the Guildhall, and all the council staff and officers who contributed in some way over the year to make this mayoralty very enjoyable and very successful. And together we covered a lot of visits, and with our functions, we raised over £17,000 for charity, which I think is quite good in this day and age with the problems we're under. But all the work is really done by the team, not by me. I would hate to take credit for other people's graft because they're quite a remarkable team. And I think we all know that. I must actually tell you a little bit of things that have been going on, which you're probably not aware of. But this whole year has been special to me and to Teresa, because in April last year, I suffered a serious brain injury. And that left me in intensive care for a week immediately before the elections. We didn't tell people because I'm not the sort of person who likes people coming and baying at me in bed. Strangely, banging my head like this was lucky because they found a brain tumour and they've took me in June. I slipped off to have a brain tumour removed. And that had caused the internal damage that caused all the problems. So you can understand the whole year's been a bit of a roller coaster with everything that's gone on. And for me and my wife, the mayoress, and I do commend her for retaining a sense of humour throughout and keeping me going at times I've slightly flagged. But don't worry, everybody, I'm going to be around for a while yet. Okay, that's not as serious as it may sound. But I may be the only mayor to complete a mayoral year with a part of their brain missing. So we may set a precedent, maybe, I don't know. It's not an exaggeration to say the singular impact on me during the year is realising how much of our society here is managed and helped by volunteers. The real secret weapon in our borough, and I recognise some faces connected with some of those things here today. Their enthusiasm is truly inspiring, and this year, recognising the award of the King's Award for Voluntary Service to the Windsor Ceremonial Wardens. But there's a lot more going on than just that. And in some cases, the groups provide services which, in an ideal world, would be delivered by paid staff. They really are the bits of glue that hold everything together. And it's something that's very humbling to see working. I must say, volunteers are all over the place. I've been stolen by Windsor Horse Rangers, and I've already started mucking out on Sunday mornings and enjoying the ability to clear your sinuses, I found, is a very good thing. Another moving event each month that you do as a mayor is the citizenship ceremonies, which the registrars carry out with a representative of the lieutenancy and the mayor. One's present to welcome the citizens to the UK, obviously on behalf of the King, and the mayor's there to welcome people to the borough. We've shared the task this year between myself and Simon. I think we both agree it's deeply moving for the people there. It's a very, very emotional service. Some people have had a long journey to get there, and it's very, very important, and I've really enjoyed doing it. As I leave straight right, hopefully later, I hope our new mayor will support me as the Armed Forces champion going forward, as I intend to hold the second Armed Forces dinner this summer. And I hope we can finally hold a decent Armed Forces Day event worthy of the borough. And I just remind everybody, if you've read the paper, it's a duck race. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, read the Observer the other week. So, Simon and David, please go forward and enjoy this, because it is a fabulous opportunity and a fabulous thing to do. And embrace every minute, because it's gone like that, just disappears. Again, thank you all. May I now invite nominations for the office of mayor for the next municipal year? Councillor Gross.
When putting together this proposal speech, I needed to check some details with Simon, and his only request to me was, keep it short, please don't overdo it, and don't be too flowery as that will be embarrassing. And I believe that short request possibly says more about Simon than anything I'm about to say, but here goes anyway. Simon first relocated to the Royal Borough for work 45 years ago, and after taking early retirement from his career in financial services, he dedicated his time to charitable and civic endeavours, and was first elected as a councillor for Belmont Ward in Maidenhead in 2019. He was then subsequently re-elected in 2023 with an increased majority. It's easy to see why Simon is held in such high regard by members of the council and residents alike. He's not an individual driven by ego or self-promotion, but rather by a sense of civic duty and purpose. Passionate about environmental causes, he was a founding member of Wild Maidenhead, and as a proud member of the LGBTQ+ community, representation, inclusion, and allyship are close to his heart. During his time as deputy mayor, often with his partner and deputy's consort David by his side, Simon has enjoyed attending numerous events for myriad causes, with particular standouts being a visit to the Specialist Green Room School in Windsor, the Primary School Dance Festival for schools from across the borough, which showcase the talents of RBWM's young people, and also lunches for the Social Stroke Club and a day centre, which were pleasant social occasions where everybody got to enjoy chatting and meeting one another. Looking forwards, supporting the incredible work of our local charities will no doubt be a key focus for Simon, and I know he will continue to champion organisations who are looking to create a fairer, cleaner, more sustainable world, including, but I'm sure not limited to, the Mayor's Benevolent Fund, which supports local residents who are in genuine need, the Alexander Divine Children's Hospice, and the Baby Bank. I, for one, am excited to see how Simon, as mayor, will champion these incredible causes, and I have no doubt he will approach this role with the thoughtfulness, consideration, and conscientiousness he is well known for. So, sticking to my original promise of keeping this short, sweet, and not too flowery, I am just left to say that I'm honoured and delighted to propose Councillor Simon Bond as the next mayor for the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead for the municipal year 2024-25. Thank you.
Is the motion seconded? Councillor Shaw.
I am delighted to second Simon's nomination for mayor. Simon is kind, diligent, and community-driven, which all show how evident it is that he will be a good mayor. Where Simon has been called a quiet man, I can guarantee the same hasn't been said of his partner, David Armitage. David, like myself, hails from the north and moved to Maidenhead in 1974, where he has remained ever since. Despite facing vision difficulties since an early age, David thrived and had a long and successful career as a food scientist at RHM Technology, working on a variety of household names, including Hovis and Bisto, and is where he helped bring Quorn into the world. He is always happy to share interesting stories of weird and wonderful things he's worked on. David is environmentally conscious and is a proud Europhile. Together with Simon, he continues to frequently explore Europe by train and has a host of stories to share from their extensive experiences, such as being in Berlin when the wall fell. He is a fantastic baker, a master cook, and a great entertainer, and I can wholeheartedly say, if Simon or David invites you to dinner, take that opportunity. You will not regret it. David has spent the last year supporting Simon's deputy mayoral duties with gusto, attending events around the borough, and he will continue to show that care and support throughout the next year. His bright and curious mind, his quick wit, and his no-nonsense attitude will only support Simon in his time as mayor, just like he has for the last 45 years they have spent together. Thank you.
Are there any other nominations? There being no other nominations, I now invite the council to vote on the motion that Councillor Simon Bond be elected mayor for the coming municipal year. Is that unanimous? I hereby declare that Simon Lehana Bond has been duly elected Mayor of the Royal Borough of Windsor Maidenhead for the coming municipal year. Please join me in congratulating Councillor Bond. The Mayor's officer will now assist me to remove our change of office and will present the new Mayor's consort with the mayoral change of office. Councillor Bond will then sign the declaration book and make the declaration of acceptance of office.
Yeah.
Hit me hat.
I, Simon Lehana Bond, having been elected to the office of Mayor of the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead, hereby declare that I take the said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties thereof according to the best of my judgment and ability. Distinguished guests, members and officers of the council, ladies and gentlemen. First, some very important thank yous to Councillor Neil Knowles and Teresa for being great to work with. I'm sure we learnt a lot during the year. To Alison Singleton, Andrew Scott and the civic team for arranging everything and for keeping us on the straight and narrow during the year. To Councillor Sian Martin and the Belmont team for being so good to work with. And to those who kindly proposed and seconded me. I thought it was great to hear from two of the new councillors first elected in 2013 and from right across the borough of Windsor and Maidenhead. And I do feel part of both Windsor and Maidenhead. 45 years ago, I started a new job in Windsor and we set up home in Maidenhead. It was a local employer. So for years, I knew more people who lived in Windsor and Dedworth than came from Maidenhead. You get to experience so much as Deputy Mayor. There are the major civic events, particularly the acts of remembrance with their twin messages. We will always remember them and never again. The latter being something that seems so sadly to be being forgotten in some parts of the world today. this year is the 80th anniversary of the Normandy landings. Then there are the invitations to a wide variety of events. We remember them all right from the first one. I'm grateful to them all for making us so welcome. I found out so much about the voluntary and charity sector and the commitment and professionalism of those who serve whoever the group is, whether it's our young people or our older citizens. There have also been memorable visits to different faiths, places of worship. Just to pick two out, Holy Trinity in Windsor and the Sikh Gurdwara in Maidenhead. I think it is so important here that the different faiths respect each other and can talk. I'm very pleased to accept this role of Mayor of the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead in the 50th year since Kit Aston was made the first mayor of both Windsor and Maidenhead. It was in 1974 that the two towns, the two councils of Windsor and Maidenhead, came together in the Royal Borough that we have today. Thank you to all of you for giving me this opportunity to serve our communities. And I hope it turns out to be a memorable year for each and every one of us for the right reasons. Thank you. It is now my pleasant duty to present the immediate past mayor with his past mayor's badge. Thank you very much. That's a good May I now invite nominations for the office of Deputy Mayor for the coming year.
It really is such an honour and a personal thrill for me to be proposing Mandy Brar to be Deputy Mayor for the next year. I first met Mandy 31 years ago when she first got onto the parish council. It was the year that I was first elected to the county council, so we were newbies together. That was also the year that another Cookham giant was first elected to the county council, a guy called Henry Donnelly. And I know what an inspiration Henry was to Mandy when she first set up shop at the heart of Cookham Rise. It was he that persuaded her to become a parish councillor, and he would have been absolutely overjoyed to see her now installed as the Deputy Mayor of the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead. I don't think I've ever seen someone as well known in the community as Mandy. Canvassing with her in Cookham is an education. She seems to know everyone by name, and they know Mandy as well. I remember once we were out in Cookham and she came across a name on the canvas cards that she didn't know. There was shock on her face, and she charged up the path to introduce herself quickly, not only as the local councillor, but also as the local shopkeeper. The resident had only just moved in. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Mandy's shop. It has become an institution in Cookham. Get your groceries and at the same time, bring any local issue or problem to your local councillor. Even though she is now retired, Mandy is still as available as ever to the residents. I've often heard Mandy described as a force of nature. If you want something done, ask Mandy. Her success is down to plain and simple hard work. All around Cookham, you mention Mandy's name and the residents say, "Oh, Mandy, she helped me with some casework. Oh, she looked after my parent when they were ill. She kept my daughter on the straight and narrow. She drove me to an important appointment." I really don't know how Mandy makes the time for all of this. So I'm absolutely delighted to be proposing such a hard-working councillor to be Deputy Mayor and someone who I have so much respect for. So I hope you can all support the nomination of such a hard-working local figure as Mandy. Thank you.
Is the motion seconded?
Mr. Mayor, distinguished guests, I'm pleased to second Mandy Brar in the position of Deputy Mayor and her husband and partner Harry Brar for the role of Deputy Consul. I have known Harry and Mandy for over 10 years, first by her capacity as a force of nature on the parish council and a stalwart of the Cookham community, and latterly both as personal friends. Harry will be a great support to Mandy during the year ahead, and I'd like to talk a little bit about Harry. Harry was born, raised in Punjab, where his family farmed. The time on the farm has stayed with Harry, leading to his ongoing love of walking and gardening, although the love of 4 a.m. starts seems to have waned slightly with retirement. He is one of 3 brothers. He was sent to boarding school at 12 and concluded an obviously successful education with a BA in economics and political science. But like many who grow up in agricultural communities, there came a time to move away from the farm and the village and head off into the wider world. Eventually, all 3 brothers left the Punjab, with 2 settling in the UK and 1 in Canada. For Harry, this led to a meeting of Mandy, and they married in 1979, moving to Cookham in 1989 with the purchase of that famous Hillcrest stores. In Cookham, Mandy and Harry raised 2 sons, Danveer and Alanveer, who both attended the local Cookham Rise Primary School. They then moved on to both attending Desborough. Now they have successful careers in education, one as a lecturer in Leeds University, and the other returned to Desborough to teach. And he also coaches part-time for QPR. And we all know QPR needs a lot of coaching. A recent addition to the Brar family is granddaughter Zenzella, who is keeping her parents on their toes. For Harry, a career with Mars in Slough followed, and whilst he was consistently less than enthusiastic about chocolate, he stayed there for 30 years, retiring in 2019. But most retirees begin to take things easy. However, Harry joined Mandy in the shop, and so a second, different career, possibly for a harder taskmaster. Long shifts, early starts, regular runs to wholesalers, and then the big decision in 2023, a second retirement, selling the shop. So what next? Well, after his second retirement, the travel bug has returned. It's been long dormant with all those long days in the shops. Its first objective to reinvigorate those family ties with brothers, father, and family, and more recently, an unusual idea of exploring the world by train, which seems to be something our mayor is enjoying as well. But in these in-between times, glimpses of those long-standing early interests shine through. Long walks, a love of gardening, although it is now watching, not playing cricket. However, having seen how immaculate Harry's garden lawn is, I think he might be hoping for a third career as a groundsman at Lord's, although it is a long walk from Cookham. But amongst all those changes and movements, some things remain the same. A love of family. I know Harry will be a great support for Mandy during this year in office. I know Mandy will be a fabulous deputy mayor. And so it is with great pleasure I second Mandy and Harry for these roles.
Are there any other nominations? There being no other nominations, I now invite the council to vote on the motion that Councillor Mandy Brar be elected Deputy Mayor for the coming municipal year. Is that unanimous? Thank you. I hereby declare Mandy Brar has been duly elected as Deputy Mayor of the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead for the coming municipal year. Please join me in congratulating Councillor Brar. Thank you. The Mayor's officer will now assist the new Deputy Mayor and new Deputy Mayor's consort to put on the chains of office. Councillor Brar will then sign the declaration book and make the declaration of acceptance of office.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Werner and Councillor Howard for proposing and seconding. Thank you. Right, I, Mandy Brar, having been appointed to the office of Deputy Mayor for the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead, hereby declare that I take the said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties thereof according to the best of my judgment and my ability. Distinguished guests, members and officers of the council, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a privilege to have represented Cookham Parish Council for 31 years and my third term as a borough councillor for Bisham and Cookham ward and met so many residents in the ward. I would like to thank all the residents of Bisham and Cookham for electing myself and Councillor Howard as their ward councillors. When I was approached by Councillor Werner about taking on the role of a deputy mayor, I was surprised because I never thought of serving as a deputy mayor. It will be a great opportunity to learn much more across the borough, as well meet all the voluntary and community sectors, something which I'm looking forward to doing. You're always learning, it does not matter of one's age. It's never been too late to acquire knowledge and new skills. I would like to thank you, all council officers and fellow councillors across the political spectrum for the lesson they have given me on my journey so far, on serving the Royal Borough to the best of my ability. I'm looking forward to working with new mayor in the year ahead and represent the Royal Borough, and would like to thank you and give me this privilege. Thank you.
We now move on to item 5 on the agenda, the appointment of panels and appointment of panel chairman, details of which have been circulated to members prior to the meeting. Please note an updated Appendix A was published this afternoon to correct identified typos and amend the titles of the council's champions. Can the appointment be moved and seconded?
I'd like to propose item 5, the appointment of panels and chairs.
Thank you. Can this be agreed unanimously? Agreed. Thank you. That That concludes the business of the agenda. I now formally close the meeting.
You go. Oh, yeah.
I'll let you go first.
Yeah.
And then just,